Okay, Houston, this is the first video, and this concerns the setting up of the dolly, because I know that's one of the more important things, and it's going to cover a lot of stuff. So to do the dolly, you're going to need these components. The silver tripod that I've got, Manfrotto, and notice that it's got the regular gear head, not the fluid head like that one over there. The regular gear head on it, and then I've got my black Manfrotto, which also has the gear head junior, just like the other one. So I'm going to set these up so that they are the same height. Now this thing is not just super easy to adjust the height like while it's all set up. So I would suggest that you establish where you want your camera before you get this going, height wise. So I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the little Manfrotto tripod, and I've got it set, just one leg extension up with the junior head. Now notice that I've got the straight side of this head facing that way. It doesn't matter which way it faces, but it's handy to go ahead when you're setting up the second tripod to have that head placed, facing the same way. So that's where all the gears and stuff are going to be. So let me set up the second tripod. Now on this bigger Manfrotto, matter of fact, I'm going to set my camera on the tripod just so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so something like that. This tripod, it's got the silver legs and it's got these levers, and this is unlike other tripods because it doesn't have knobs and stuff on the legs. So, if you want this to go up, there's a knob right here that's facing out toward you, and they're all the way around. There's three, they're all hooked to the same thing, and I just kind of rotate those, and the legs will just drop. There's one kind of slow leg you have to kind of kick down. But anyway, this lever right there is the overall one. There's a smaller lever under that you can press to adjust each individual leg. But I'm going to go ahead and have this all the way down because it pretty much matches the black one when it is one leg up. Now notice I'm going to have that tripod, the flat one's going to be facing the same way as the one over there. So I'm going to kind of have them, pretty much facing each other, kind of level them out. You can do that just by turning the knobs. Be sure that the center column is locked down, otherwise it'll kind of wiggle around on you. So let me pop this off this tripod, and I'm going to spin this around and flatten it out like I did a minute ago. Sorry about the lousy focus, but I'm just hand holding this and stuff. Okay, and you can tell they're roughly the same height, but the silver one's going to be just a little bit lower, and that's okay because I can jack up the center column with a crank and level it out once the bars are on there. So the next thing is we're going to put the units that hold the bars in place. And these are just handmade. They've got a tripod plate just like would be on the camera, and that fits down, straight side over there, and just press it down. Since they're handmade, you may have to force that lever. Be sure that's on there securely because you don't want the whole rig falling apart on you. Same thing with this one. And notice this needs to be pulled back. Push the little silver tab in and swing it back, and that's in its ready position. And then that'll just simply click on there, just like that. So now what we've got is two tripod with the two pole holders. And here are the poles up here, and they're just chrome closet rods that I got from Home Depot for about 30 bucks a piece. So pretty good deal. They're nice and smooth. Now notice that it's not even thinking about laying in there straight, but that's okay. You can straighten them out here in just a second. Let me get the second one. Again, I'm sorry about the lousy focus and stuff, but I'm just moving around. Okay, so what I'm going to do is adjust this to flatten out, and also its rotation like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Straighten it out, lift it up, like that. Now you may not be able to tell from the camera angle, But the silver one is a little bit lower. And if you put the carriage on there, the camera obviously would just fall off the end, and you don't want that. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the center crank. Let's get down a little bit lower, and you can see. First thing I'm gonna do is, yeah, hang on. That's kind of there. Hope I didn't fall off the table. Push that little button in to release the crank, because it doesn't just fold in by itself. There's a little button that you have to press to release that. And then I'm going to loosen the knob on the far side over here. It's just a regular knob. Loosen that up. Now you can crank the center column up, but it's got a little lever on this side that's an anti-rollback. You can't lower that unless you press this lever, and then it'll go back down. So, and then once you've got it level, the bar's level, which I'm just going to kind of visualize, tighten up that knob. And now the whole thing's pretty level. I think it could be a little flatter, but you know, use the 3 knobs on the tripod head to straighten it up. And of course, when you adjust one, you got to adjust the other to make up for the difference. Anyway, pretty level. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is do the carriage, which is right here. When you're riding around with this thing, don't let the wheels hit the ground. There's a single bolt that holds this carriage in place, and that could twist and get those wheels out of alignment, and you don't want that. So let it rest on the smooth side. Don't let these things get knocked around, or that'll cause you a problem down the line. And I'm gonna put this on the deal. Let me see if this is working. Yeah, okay, it's okay. Okay. So here's the carriage, and it's pretty obvious. You don't want the wheels rolling this way, they're not gonna do anything. So they go this way. And just let it roll back and forth for a second. Make sure that it's not obviously, tilting down where it's going to fall off the carriage. I go ahead and just for safety, use a couple of these spring clips on the end, on either end, just to make sure the wheels, that'll keep the wheels from, falling off, or at least let you know where it'll stop pretty quickly. All right, the next thing we're going to do is mount the tripod head on there. Let me just check my framing. I can zoom in on that. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to send you with the smaller bogan head. It's just easier to deal with. It has the same mounting mechanism as the tops of the regular junior gear heads. And I'll make sure that you get a plate that goes on the bottom of the camera, any cameras that you're using. So this is the smaller of the 2 fluid heads. And on the bottom of it, I've mounted a ball leveler, which is really handy on this deal. I'll leave that screwed into the head, but it just screws into the bottom of the tripod head. 3/8 inch, 3/8 inch, just set it on top and twist the knob, to screw that on there. There's a crude washer that goes below that, but it gives your fingers something to, it doesn't get in the way. So there's a lever on the side of this. If you loosen that, you can just do any kind of adjustment to level out the head. You want that head level so that if you pan, it'll go in a flat circle. I've got this handle facing the wrong way, so let me just turn that around. Okay, so here is the tripod head. There's a bubble level on that, so you can flatten it out, but you can pretty much judge. That's not brain surgery. Now on this tripod head, there's a lock here that you can lock the tilt, and then there's also, man, you gotta make sure that's tight. And then you loosen up the knob under here, and that tightens, and restricts the pan, the horizontal swing on the deal. So anyway, so here is the carriage with the head on it, and it runs real smooth. I'll be sure that the rods are cleaned off so there's no gunk or anything. There's a piece of tape that I'll take that gaff tape off there, but that can, cause a minor bump in a dolly move. But anyway, this will give you about 4 feet of dolly. So if you shoot close and wide, it's a nice effective move. So anyway, that's how you do that. And again, just a close up, there's the knob that controls, that tightens up the horizontal. And this knob right here can lock or loosen up the vertical tilt. I like this little head. I almost like it better than my big one. And again, the mounting the camera is exactly like mounting those bars. You want to make sure that the lever, let me focus a little better. There you go. You depress the silver button and then pull the lever back. It'll lock on that little pin, and when you drop a plate down there that's mounted to a camera, when that clicks down, it'll swing that lever forward. So that's pretty tight. You might want to push that lever just a tiny, tiny bit just to make sure that it's locked on there, but I really never have problems. This knob right here just controls the swing of this arm, in case it's in the way or something like that. You can adjust it to point down or whatever. It's kind of chewed up on the ends, so sorry about that. Oh, by the way, I got some gaffer tape taped on there. That's for no function other than you just have a little bit of gaffer tape on hand in case you need it. Just kind of handy. So that's the dolly.